Great start there from Fabio Quartararo. Pecco Bagnaia did not get away well. Pol Espargaro will lead into turn 1 ahead of Quartararo.
Yeah, nervy start there by Pecco Bagnaia. He's about to get swallowed up as they sweep towards the 5th gear. 180 mile an hour Magnussen Beckett's section for the first time. Alex Espargaro's had a superb start, just what he wanted. Up from 6th to 3rd. It's the Espargaro brothers, 1st and 3rd early on here in Silverstone.
There's number 89, Jorge Martin, trying to find a way through on Marc Marquez, but what a start from Pol Espargaro. Number 44, he said he wants to learn from 1 or 2 riders. At the moment, he can't see anyone. He has got an 8 or 9 bike length lead. They're all getting in the slipstream down the back straight here into turn 7. Look at Pecco Bagnaia from nowhere. He goes up to 2nd. Excellent stuff from the Italian.
Bagnaia came from such a long way back there.
Marquez gets a nudge.
Yeah, Nakagami out well wide into Stowe as well. Stowe, one of the favourite overtaking opportunities around the Silverstone track. Bagnaia through. He's under instant attack though again from Pecco Bagnaia, who finds a way through at turn number 8. Bagnaia back in 2nd. Marquez has taken down Martin.
They had a bit of a nudge over at turn 7, and now there's contact, and they both go down through turns 8 and 9. Marc Marquez and Jorge Martin are down and out.
Can you believe it? Marc Marquez down on the deck yet again. It's going to be another potential DNF for the 8 times world champion.
Pol Espargaro leads, number 44 from 63, Bagnaia. Aleix Espargaro is there in 3rd on the Aprilia. So what happened here? These two had contact into turn 7, and then it got a bit messy, didn't it? Down into turn 8.
2 of the big hitters in this race, 2 of the main protagonists we felt in this race are out on the very first lap.
Valentino Rossi made a great start. He's in 6th place, ladies and gentlemen. 6th place. Joan Mir, the world champion, is there as well. It's an Espargaro 1-2. Pol leads from Aleix.
Keeping it in the family. Brotherly love at the front of the British Grand Prix. Brilliant move that by Aleix Espargaro. Found a way up the inside of Pecco Bagnaia's Ducati into Brooklyn. Not easy to pick up the slipstream down the Wellington straight there for Aleix Espargaro, but brilliant on the brakes in the Brookings. He made that move look simple.
No problem for Pol. 1 lap completed here as we head into Copse Corner. Remounting and rejoining the race is number 89 Pramac Ducati rider Jorge Martin. Unfortunately, not the same fate for Marc Marquez as his crew chief Santi Hernandez looks on.
An early battle, Marc Marquez. He was in great form, a podium potential last time out in Austria when he crashed in those really tricky wet conditions. There's been a couple of big opportunities blown by Marquez since he returned from that career-threatening injury this year, and another one's gone beckoning today.
Marc Marquez then, the Repsol Honda rider, crashes out. Let's see what happens here then. This was into turn 7. Now watch, there's contact from Marc Marquez and Martin here. That nudges Marc Marquez wide, and then they'll go down the hill and into turn 8. Martin gets it a little bit hot inside. You'll see him again in a minute, and then he has to flick it right, but a tight line, and then contact back from Marc Marquez. That one will be looked at upstairs in race direction.
It really will, yeah. I don't think we can really apportion any blame for the first contact. Jorge Martin was committed to Stowe Corner. Marquez had run wide. The gap was clearly there for Martin to take, and he's leaning on the right-hand side, so we can't really see where Marc Marquez is on the outside. For me, that was a racing incident. The stewards will have a very close look at that one between Marquez and Martin, the second contact, because that looked a little bit more questionable.
Let's just recap then. Pol Espargaro leads on a Repsol Honda from his brother Aleix on the Aprilia. In 3rd is Bagnaia, in 4th the championship leader Quartararo, and then it's Miller, Mir, Rossi, Rings, Zarco and Nakagami.
Imola 1997, the Aoki brothers, Nobuatsu and Takuma. They were the last pair of brothers that stood together on a Premier Class podium. I might be getting a bit carried away here. It's early days, but we've got the Espargaro brothers 1st and 2nd.
Well, we witnessed one of the best races in Motogp history just 2 weeks ago in Austria. Are we in for another barnstormer here? Across the line, Pol Espargaro leads, but the fastest lap is his brother Aleix in 2nd.
Yeah, quite a bit quicker as well. There's the Aprilia man in 2nd place, about 3/10 faster than the Repsol Honda man directly ahead of him. Quartararo just can't find a way back through yet. On Pecco Bagnaia, who's just set his personal best lap of the race as well. Bagnaia about 2/10 slower than Aleix Espargaro ahead of him.
There is Valentino Rossi, number 46. He's in line here for his best result of the season. He's just up ahead of Alex Rins. He's made up some ground on the opening laps. A couple of places up for him.
Yeah, this has been much more like it this weekend from Valentino Rossi. He's been much more opponent fixture inside the top 10. That's a late lunge, a late attack on the brakes into Stowe. He was never going to make that work, was he? Aleix Espargaro. He's got to be patient here. He's quite comfortably reeling in Pol Espargaro ahead of him. But that was just getting him far too hot. He just had to let the brake off, ran wide, and was still able to hold on to 2nd place.
Now I remind you that earlier in the weekend as well, Aleix and Pol, the brothers, had a little bit of a spat, shall we say, on the circuit.
Brothers up in arms, wasn't it?
Now then, here is Jake Dixon, number 96, in his debut MotoGP race. Not huge expectations for him. He's got to just see the checkered flag and try and learn. He's in 19th place at the moment, behind Miguel Oliveira and Cal Crutchlow. Quartararo, that's lovely. Number 20, the World Championship leader, up the inside of the Ducati of Pecco Bagnaia, and he holds his line as well. The Frenchman is up to third.
Yeah, using the inside line into Village there on Bagnaia, and he was able to run that tighter line through the loop. There was just no way that Bagnaia could respond. Now it's all about getting the crucial drive now out of Aintree corner, so Bagnaia can't use the better speed of the Ducati to sweep back at Brooklands. That's exactly what Quartararo did. Now he can set about focusing on hunting down the Espargaro boys.
On board here with Pecco Bagnaia, number 63, the Italian. His teammate Jack Miller is in the mix as well. He's just behind him is the Aussie, and Joan Mir looks a threat. Mir is in 6th and he's got good speed. He's broken away from his teammate Alex Rins in 7th. Both he and Rossi have dropped back a bit.
Fastest man on circuit is the world champion, Joan Mir there, peeling through, elbow on the deck through Cox Corner. Spectacular action on that blind entry, turn 1 for Mir. He's about to make a move very, very quickly on Thriller Minner ahead of him. Mir, best lap of the race, a 2:00.647. That was just about a 10th quicker than Pol Espargaro, the race leader.
Based on recent history, Matt, of Mir's ability to be able to maintain the tyres, this bodes very well for Joan Mir to be in this position and this fast at this stage of the race.
It really does. Nothing going at the moment for Brad Binder, the Austrian Grand Prix winner. Started P12, that's exactly where he sits, about halfway around this 4th lap. Binder 12th, just behind Alex Marquez. Taki Nakagami, despite his tummy troubles, in 10th place.
There's not going to be any backflip celebrations for Johann Zarco today either. He's really struggling, the Frenchman. He's in 9th and dropping back from the leading group. We're now on board with Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia, soon to be joined by Maverick Vinales, with Dobby on his way back to MotoGP as well, as he's now hunting down his teammate, his brother, Pol Espargaro. What a result this would be.
Yeah, Pol Espargaro is the only man in the top 9 that went for that Michelin soft rear tyre. So it's all going to be about the durability, the endurance. That's a beautiful move by Fabio Quartararo into the loop. He's pinched the inside line from Aleix Espargaro. Espargaro could not keep turning in on the Aprilia to go through Aintree and run his normal line. That was beautifully done by Quartararo. The perfectly executed move into the loop.
Aleix has lost another place there. Pecco Bagnaia goes through on him as well, so the Aprilia rider has gone from 2nd back to 4th. That was a textbook move from Fabio Quartararo.
Now then the rest of the pack will be wary here, because if Fabio Quartararo can pick off Pol Espargaro very, very quickly with clear track ahead of him, he showed the pace in FP4, he showed the rhythm that he could potentially break away. Aleix Espargaro trying to respond immediately on Pecco Bagnaia. He does so. Lovely. Up into Cox Corner.
Lovely move from Aleix. He had to do that. He doesn't want to lose any more ground. In the meantime, in the background there, Joan Mir, the world champion, number 36 on the blue Suzuki, desperately trying to find a way past Jack Miller. Of course, Ducati's notoriously difficult to pass.
Yeah, not an easy motorcycle to overtake, and Jack Miller's no mud on the brakes either, is he? So Mir's got his hands full trying to find a way through on the Australian.
Fabio Quartararo is in a prime position here, chasing down the Repsol Honda of Pol Espargaro.
Yeah, Aleix Espargaro and Pecco Bagnaia have got to be careful here, because if they keep tussling, they're going to let Pol Espargaro and Fabio Quartararo make a bit of a decisive break.
Breaking down into turn 8, on board with the World Championship leader Fabio Quartararo, who's barely put a foot wrong so far this year. We know that he's got the rhythm to get through. I don't think Pol Espargaro would have expected, after this point of the race, to have been leading for quite so long. He was expecting Quartararo and Bagnaia to go ahead so he could sit back and learn.
You can just see there, back in your picture, Rossi just struggling to run the pace of the 7 men ahead of him.
He's through.
That was aggressive, wasn't it, going through farm? You've got to be confident to make that kind of move. Fabio Quartararo, the world champion leader, is oozing confidence. Now then, Quartararo, when he's been in this situation previously, has got to the front, and then for 2 or 3 laps he's put the hammer down. He's pulled the pin to try and make a decisive gap. That's exactly what plan A will be now for the world championship leader.
Yeah, he's going to be a difficult man to stop. In the meantime, Mir had gone past Miller, but no surprise, on the power down the hanger straight. Ducati uses the Bologna bullets to his advantage to go straight back through again. Here's the move then from Fabio Quartararo. It's fast through there. That's a really nice move.
Yeah, and you make that move there and he knows that there's nobody. It's the tightest part of Silverstone. Everybody else is not going to be able to find a way through on Pol Espargaro, and then get your head down. Straight away, Fabio Quartararo, he only took the lead from Pol Espargaro 8 corners ago. He found nearly 6/10 of a second on the Spaniard in 2nd place. Quartararo now is trying to make that crucial break.
Heading through the fast maggots and Beckett's, the fan wall in the background, the Monster Energy Grand Prix of Great Britain. Fabio Quartararo looking to extend his championship lead. This would be a hammer blow to his championship contenders if he comes across the line to become the 7th different winner in 7 years here at Silverstone. Both Rins and Mir then are now through on Jack Miller. Here's Marc Marquez. He's finally made his way back to the box, and that's the end of his weekend in the UK.
Yeah, pretty forlorn looking figure, wasn't he? It's Espargaro on Espargaro, down into Vale, turn number 8. Aleix, he'll have the inside line going through turn 9. They'll try and get the power on as hard as they dare at full lean angle to attack through club corner, and Aleix Espargaro has got himself up into second place.
Yeah, he's got to try and hunt down Fabio Quartararo now. That gap is a second the Frenchman has over the Aprilia rider. Just behind then Paul Espargaro, holding on to a podium position. Pecco Bagnaia in fourth.
Steve, it was right here on the previous lap where Quartararo took the lead, and in that lap he's immediately found 1 second. This is what Fabio Quartararo does. He doesn't get flustered or panicked at the start of the race when he doesn't make the start third or fourth, wasn't he, early on. He waited for the tyres to get up the temperature, he waited for the fuel load to lighten that a little bit, and once he gets to the front, this is what he can do. He can click into his rhythm. He's got nobody impeding his line. The Yamaha can just run its natural lines, and now this spells danger for the chasing pack because Quartararo's checking out at the moment.
I rather fancy that's the moment where Mir went through on Miller. He made a mistake into the first corner, and Rins capitalised on that as well. The two Suzukis look like they might be able to run with Fabio. The problem that they've got is they've got 3 or 4 bikes up ahead of them.
Quartararo has just set the fastest lap of the race, 2:00.098, just as we suspected. It's head down under the bubble, full gas from this man, and he's threatening to run right now in Silverstone and really break away from the chasing pack. And Aleix Espargaro doing everything he can to hang in there, but on that last lap Quartararo took 7 tenths out of the man in second place.
Further back, Alex Marquez is having a good race. He's up into 8th. He's just gone past Valentino Rossi. You'll be able to see them in the background there. Nakagami also with them. So the gap at the front then is 1.4 seconds. Fabio Quartararo has over Aleix Espargaro as Alex Rins goes through on the world champion Joan Mir. The race winner here in 2019 moves up into 5th.
Yeah, the two factory Ducatis are going the wrong way, aren't they? Bagnaia and Miller struggling at this phase of the race. Alex Rins, we know how good he is. He's such a finesse rider, so silky smooth. He's such a textbook riding style, Alex Rins. Sometimes prone to those unforced errors. Best we've seen from Alex Rins probably since Portimao when he fell right behind race leader Fabio Quartararo. That was round 3.
You must see the checkered flag today though.
Yeah,
Alex Rins
100%.
after too many crashes in good positions in 2021.
Fabio Quartararo just making this look so easy. Now his advantage through sector 2. On this 7th lap it's up to 1.7 seconds. It's going to get bigger and bigger. It is through sector 3. It's nearly 1.9 seconds. You've got to feel over the line to start lap 7. It's going to be a 2-second buffer over Aleix Espargaro.
He's got to make hay while the sun shines though, Matt. Yesterday in the press conference, Fabio Quartararo, when asked a few questions, said his biggest concern was front tyre choice. He wasn't sure about the durability over race distance, and he's got that soft front in. At the moment, he's singing, he's flying. He's 1.8, nearly 2 seconds clear of Aleix Espargaro, and is set to extend his championship lead. But this could be a different story in the closing stages.
Yeah, I mean, Aleix Espargaro is running a very impressive pace. He's just done successive laps in the 2:00.07, which is a really strong, impressive speed. It's just not good enough to go with Fabio Quartararo. Aleix is not getting slower. It's just that Fabio Quartararo is just that sort of 6-7 tenths faster on each lap over the last 2 laps, better than him.
Aleix Espargaro, though, would take a podium all day long. P2 for the number 41 would do very nicely.
Aragon 2014, can you believe it? The last time the 32-year-old was on the podium. Valentino Rossi lost 8th place on the previous lap to this young man. Alex Marquez, who's putting together another strong ride on that LCR Honda. Took a couple of 9th places in the Austrian doubleheader. Alex Marquez now up into 8th spot. He's got 1.5 seconds to find to get back on tabs with Jack Miller.
Quick check on the Brits further back. Cal Crutchlow is in 17th, having a good battle with Luca Marini. And Jake Dixon is still in 19th. He's 9 seconds down on Oliveira, but he's lapping in the 202s, which for his debut Grand Prix is not bad at all.
We talked about how the problems were building for Pecco Bagnaia. That last lap from the Italian was a 2:01.6, which was 1.5 seconds slower than Fabio Quartararo. There's a move coming in from Alex Rins on Paul Espargaro. He set that all up through Village. Set it up through Village, picks the inside line from Paul Espargaro, going into the loop. And now he moves into the podium places. Paul Espargaro then now the pole man relegated to 4th.
Well, we said so often about Alex Rins, you never know what you're going to get on a Sunday from him, and he's showing here what he's made of. He loves this Silverstone circuit, that famous victory here in 2019. He's acting pretty well at the moment. Here are the two factory Ducatis. Pecco Bagnaia 6th, Miller 7th. That would be a disappointing day at the office for the Bologna boys if it stays like that, and there's already been a big moment for Pecco.
Yeah, and of course, he also, like Fabio Quartararo on the grid, made that late choice to go to the soft front tyre as it backfired spectacularly. But for the Italian, doesn't look like he's going to be winning his first MotoGP race here today, and crucially, he's surrendering a massive chunk of points to the runaway World Championship leader and runaway British Grand Prix leader, Fabio Quartararo, who now leads by nearly 2.3 seconds as they squeeze out of Chapel on lap number 9.
Aleix Spargaro there in second place. Romano Albiciano, of course, just getting interviewed by Italian television. I bet the nerves are jangling there. We're getting closer to half race distance.
This is all going to form, Steve. This is all going to the pre-race predictions. The two top men in that sort of dress rehearsal session, Saturday afternoon FP4, that 30-minute session. That's when you really get an indication of where the riders are at in terms of race tyre choice, their race setups. They run that full fuel tank. And really, when you delved into the lap-by-lap analysis, the top two men were Quartararo and Aleix Spargaro. So this is going to form.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks that way. 8 laps are gone. We're on board here with the Aussie, Jack Miller, who has fallen out of championship contention of late. He's about to try and pull a move on his teammate Pecco Bagnaia. Not close enough this time around. Into the loop we go at turn 14, then around to Aintree and onto the Wellington Straight, which will lead you into the bowl, if you like, of fans around Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote. On board here with Jack Miller. Is he going to be able to go through? He is going to have a look. Aussie Miller goes through on his teammate. Can he hold his line? He can. He goes to 6th.
Yeah, so the day gets worse then for Pecco Bagnaia. What a day this could be. This could be a real shift in the championship picture, couldn't it, in favour of Fabio Quartararo. When you look at his closest rivals, Bagnaia's suffering in 7th place. Johann Zarco's just nowhere. He's way down in 12th place. He's not been in the races all weekend. Johann Zarco struggled with rear stability on corner exit. He's not been able to solve those problems in this British Grand Prix, so it's a humbling day for the Frenchman as well. This could be the day we look back on and think this was one of the key moments. If Fabio Quartararo does win the 2021 MotoGP Crown, he may well look back on this day and think this was one of the key moments.
Valentino Rossi here, 9th at the moment ahead of Taka Nakagami. Brad Binder is in 11th, but no heroics from him unfortunately today, although he has just put in his fastest lap of the race. It looks like he's finally got some heat in that medium rear tyre. Johann Zarco, it sounded like, had started the race with a hard. I can tell you that is not the case. He's out there on a medium rear tyre as well. He too has just put in his fastest lap of the race.
He was famous for backflip celebrations. I mean, that would have been flipping crazy, wouldn't it, if he'd have gone for the hard rear tyre in these kind of cool temperatures. He didn't. Now then, back with the battle for second place. It's still advantage Aleix Spargaro ahead of this trio. Fabio Quartararo, the World Championship leader, has long gone. He's nearly 3 seconds clear now of these 3 Spaniards. So Aleix Spargaro on the Aprilia, still keeping Alex Rins at arm's bay.
You have to say, Pol Espargaro is doing a great job here. Okay, it's not on a podium right now, but his speed is great. He's in line here for by far his best result of the 2021 season. I don't think even he believed that the win was on from pole position.
Yeah, you look at Mir and Bagnaia, 5th and 7th at the moment in the 201s. I just wonder whether they are struggling on that soft front tyre, which is not a problem at the moment. That's hitting Quartararo. He's still doing mid to low 2 flats with ease, no problem whatsoever. But you just wonder whether the late change, Mir and Bagnaia have just not been able to adapt as quickly as this man has, because they can't get back in the 200s.
Good laps there for Rins and Pol Espargaro. Pol Espargaro, in fact, his fast lap. Jack Miller is the fastest man on the circuit at the moment. We've just reached the halfway point of this race. I wouldn't turn your screens off just yet, because Fabio Quartararo with that soft front, is he going to run into any trouble? This is how it looks at the moment. He's got a lovely comfortable gap of 2 seconds, 2.8 seconds, sorry, over Aleix Spargaro. But does the tide turn as the laps tick down?
He's done another 2:00.472, so that's back-to-back 2:00.4s. And while he's still that sort of 0.4, half a second clear of Aleix Spargaro, while he still comes across the line and sees on his pit board, sees on the dashboard that he's got that buffer nearly 3 seconds, he'll still be reasonably relaxed. But you can never relax at any stage in modern day MotoGP, can you? Aleix Spargaro's got bigger problems than the man ahead of him. It's being posed by Alex Rins directly behind him, and it's still coming from younger brother Pol, who's hanging on there, putting up a resolute fight. The pole man in 4th place. There you go, Aprilia Racing have never taken a podium finish in the modern 4-stroke MotoGP era. They've just signed Maverick Vinales, one of the top men in this MotoGP World Championship, to do that very job. Wouldn't it be just so typical of MotoGP? Just days after Maverick Vinales, the Top Gun, is signed by Aprilia to be potentially their top man, and Aleix Espargaro, having not had a podium for 7 years, flies the Aprilia in the top 3.
They've worked so hard in the Aprilia factory in Nuale, Italy. They deserve a podium, but it's not done yet. There's still a lot of hard work here to be put in by Aleix Espargaro, and he's going to have his hands full of Alex Rins in a moment on the Suzuki. Here is the 2019 British Grand Prix winner. There's Jorge Martin. Unfortunately, his race came to an end on the opening lap after a tangle with Marc Marquez. Yep, next time, Spanish Grand Prix coming up next time in Aragon. Here comes Alex Rins as he gets a bit closer to Aleix Espargaro in the hunt for 2nd place.
Yeah, Jorge Martin's always said how much he was relishing the prospects of having close racing with Marc Marquez, the Spanish legend. I'm not sure he wanted to be quite as close as it was on that opening lap through turn 7 and 9, but yeah, he lives to fight another day, and Jorge Martin will be back strong in Aragon. Now pressure seriously building here, seriously being ramped up by this man, factory Suzuki star Alex Rins, on course for his first podium finish of 2021. Boy, does he need it after a wretched run. His World Championship challenge really was over before a third of this season had even been completed.
Oh, he's wide. Aleix Espargaro is wide, Matt, and that's going to allow through Alex Rins. He takes 2nd place.
Yeah, that pressure, as we said, it had been building, and Alex Rins didn't really have to work for the overtake, did he? Aleix Espargaro in hot and slow. It's an easy mistake to make. He's not the first and won't be the last man to make that mistake in this British Grand Prix, but it's dropped him right back into the clutches now of younger brother Pol.
He hit a bit of tyre trouble here, Aleix Espargaro, with 9 laps to go.
Well, if he has, he wasn't expecting it, Steve. Yesterday he felt like, and we know the Aprilia, it's so good at tyre management, so good at nursing its tyres, particularly the rear, over the full race distance. Aleix Espargaro did say to make up for the lack of engine performance, the lack of acceleration, he does have to get on the throttle that little bit earlier on corner X than his rivals, and that does use the rear tyre a little bit quicker, but he expressed no major concern about rear tyre life at any stage yesterday. But is that the problem that's potentially derailing his podium charge here?
Pol Espargaro was the fastest man on circuit last time, and Alex Marquez the 2nd fastest. He's flying the LCR Honda rider, a massive fan of this Silverstone circuit, and he is homing in here on the factory Ducati of Pecco Bagnaia. A brilliant ride from the younger of the Marquez brothers here. He's up into 8th place at the moment and is soon to be 7th.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but Pecco Bagnaia, is it that late choice to go on that soft front tyre costing him dearly here? He knows that this is a disastrous result for the championship, with Quartararo now over 3 seconds clear of Alex Rins in 2nd place.
Here
That was
comes
coming, lovely.
coming.
Nothing Bagnaia could do about that.
Miller has also, on that last lap, gone through on Joan Mir as well, so Jack Miller is now up into 5th place.
He looks like a bit of a passenger at the moment on that factory Ducati. Unfortunately, Bagnaia, disastrous day for Ducati's championship charge. Zarco still in 12th place. He's all over the rear tyre at the moment to Rossi, who sadly is not able to continue his impressive early charge. Rossi's just been passed by Binder for 10th.
Alex Rins looking for, believe it or not, his first podium of 2021. He was in this position back in Portugal behind Fabio Quartararo, and that's where the season kind of all unravelled. Now Pol Espargaro there on the Repsol Honda, number 44, looks set here to have a proper bare knuckle fight with his brother for the remaining podium spot.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they've been scrapping and fighting together since they were toddlers, the Espargaro brothers. Now it's the duel at over 200 miles an hour, and more than just family pride at stake, family bragging rights at stake. There is a rare MotoGP podium finish here, so much at stake. Aleix Espargaro desperate to be the first man to podium for Aprilia. Pol Espargaro desperate to put behind him a shocking, struggling start to 2021, the Repsol Honda. Can he make it onto the box for HRC?
You know that they're both going to give it absolutely everything to be on the podium here today in Silverstone. Everyone's struggling a bit actually on this last lap or two. Everyone's pace has slowed down, even the leaders. Fabio Quartararo is not enough for it to change. Oh, a big moment for Pol Espargaro on the Repsol Honda as he tries to claw that gap back to his brother up ahead. They cross the line. A 2-minute 0.8 from Quartararo is still good enough to have a 3.4 second lead. And 7 laps to go.
Yeah, Fabio Quartararo again, one of the few men that's not yet dropped back into those 201s. Jack Miller's running a really strong end of race pace here at the moment. In fact, again, the Aussie's the quickest man on circuit. And he may well actually still have time to get himself back into that podium battle with the Espargaro boys, the way it's going. He's only 9/10 behind Paul in 4th.
Now the back Binder's in 10th, then it's Zarco, Lecuone and Petrucci, because Valentino Rossi's lost 4 or 5 places, so a mistake perhaps, or tyre trouble for the veteran Italian.
Yeah, Aleix Espargaro's regrouped pretty well after that mistake at Stowe, which let Rins into 2nd place. There is that gap. Look at that. Jack Miller, as we mentioned, on that last lap was nearly 6.5 tenths quicker than Pol Espargaro, directly ahead of him. And Jack Miller's got time here, and he's certainly got the speed at this stage of the race to get back into this podium battle, no question.
Fantastic to see in modern day MotoGP as well. The top 5 riders, all different manufacturers: Yamaha, Suzuki, Aprilia, Honda, Ducati, scuffling away, although this is just a battle for second at the moment. 3.6 seconds up the road now is Quattararo. This is the man on the move though, Jack Miller. He's honed in now on the Repsol Honda of Pol Espargaro up ahead of him.
Yeah, it's been a stunning last 5 or 6 laps this from Jack Miller. He's actually quicker than Fabio Quattararo, which is not an easy task at any circuit, let alone Silverstone, a track which Quattararo adores. The Yamaha loves this place as well, of course.
Breaking into Brooklands is the Aussie, and he'll be able to see these 3, as you can see on your camera lens, and he'll be thinking, yep, there's definitely a podium on for me here on British soil. We exit Luffield and head around Woodcote Corner. There'll be 6 laps to go now as we cross the line.
Finally, Quattararo drops into the 201. I think that's for the very first time. It's come on lap 14, but he can do it. He's got the luxury of doing it. He's 3.5 seconds clear of Rins in 2nd place. Miller, well, he was super impressive. Again, easily the fastest man on circuit. He was half a second quicker than the 3 men ahead of him, the Espargaro boys and Alex Rins. They're going to have their work cut out here, keeping the hard-charging Miller at bay for the remaining 6 laps. Miller on the charge.
They head on to the hangar straight. Jack Miller using all of that Ducati power, trying to find a way through on Pol Espargaro.
This is a humbling afternoon at the moment for Pecco Bagnaia, Steve. He's just come over the line.
Wide from Pol Espargaro, and Miller goes through. A mistake from Pol on the Repsol Honda into Stowe Corner. Miller has got one job done.
Yeah, that's made life a little bit easy for Jack Miller. Hasn't had to work hard for the overtake on Pol Espargaro. I was just about to say, poor old Pecco Bagnaia. Just come over the line in 8th place. He did a 2:02.098. He's so far off the pace. It's not true. He's dropping back into the clutches of Nakagami now. Unless there's some other problem, you've got to feel like it's that soft front tyre choice which has cost him. Mia likewise. He's struggling big time as well. Mia is going to be in the 2:02s as well very soon.
Jack Miller is eating these guys up. His destination P2, the Aussie number 43. Ika Lecuona, by the way. Shout out to the Spanish rider on the Tech 3 KTM. He's the 2nd fastest rider on circuit. He's 12th at the moment, homing in on Johan Zarco. There's 6 laps to go here at Silverstone. They don't look like catching Fabio Quattararo, but the race for the podium is still on.
Yeah, Valentino Rossi is fighting hard just to keep himself in the point-scoring places now. Luca Marini, his brother's just gone up into 15th by Bastianini. He's only 1.3 seconds behind Rossi in 14th place. So very much game on then in the terms of the podium places here in Silverstone. Fabio Quattararo's already over the line and long gone in the distance, nearly 4 seconds clear of Rins, and it's Rins from Aleix Espargaro. Jack Miller, again, it's another lap where he's a comfortable half a second quicker than the men directly ahead of him.
Brad Binder started to find support later on. He goes up underneath Pecco Bagnaia, but he just goes in a bit hot, and on the cutback, Bagnaia retakes that 8th spot, but Binder flies through into Maggots and Beckett, so it's another place drop then from the Italian. He's really struggling with any front-end grip at the moment. Binder then is up into 8th place.
This is going to be shocking for Pecco Bagnaia. The shocking Sunday is going to get worse because Nakagami and Lecuone, look at that. They're all over it now, attacking down the hanger straight. He's got a long time here to defend Pecco Bagnaia, hard on the brakes, as hard as he dares on that soft front tyre, down into Stowe.
Well, Fabio Quattararo in the championship at the moment is landing a knockout blow on the nose of this man, Joan Mir, and Pecco Bagnaia here at Silverstone. He's already got a 47-point lead, and that is going to grow considerably if things stay the way they are.
And once he's got himself into this position, you can't see him relinquishing it, can you? Max Biaggi, way back in 1998, was the last rider who led a world championship, a Premier Class world championship at this stage, and not to go on to win the title. He was passed by Mick Doohan. But you can't really see Fabio Quattararo fluffing his line so dramatically late on here. It's been another masterclass from him. Rins, that looks like it's the biggest bit of daylight he's made between himself and Aleix Espargaro of late. In fact, it is. He's got that advantage back to 3rd, up to half a second for the very first time.
Mika Lecuona's made up another place. He's now gone through on Pecco Bagnaia. He's up into 9th. You're looking at the fight for 2nd place between Alex Rins on the Suzuki there, number 42, 41 Aleix Espargaro on the Aprilia, and the fastest man of the 3, Jack Miller, just in behind as we come around Woodcote Corner. There's just 4 laps remaining of the British Grand Prix. We'll keep our eyes on the lap times, and again Miller quicker, but not by much.
Looks like Paul Espargaro running out of steam here late on in terms of his podium charge. There's Joan Mir at the moment in quite a lonely 6th place. He's 3.7 seconds behind Paul Espargaro in 5th. He's got a second then back to Alex Marquez.
62 points.
Yeah, that's a huge gap, isn't it?
That's damage. That really is serious damage being done by the Frenchman, El Diablo, as he's known as.
Aleix Espargaro then, it's not just the podium he so desperately wants, it could be a history-making podium for Aprilia. All the hard work that's gone behind the scenes of late in the Nuali factory. When Aprilia came back in 2015, they thought they'd be in this position within 3 years. Better late than never, but the job that they've done to radically overhaul that factory RSGP has been nothing short of amazing this year. It's a totally transformed motorcycle. It's a totally transformed Aleix Espargaro, brimming with confidence, but it's a big task. He's, what, 3.5 laps away from that history-making podium, but Jack Miller piling the pressure on him forward.
Yeah, get the Jaws music ready. Jack Miller wants the podium, and he will do everything to hunt down number 41 up ahead of him.
This would be late heartache, wouldn't it, for Aleix Espargaro? He's worked so hard. He's shed blood, sweat and tears to put Aprilia in this position. Nobody knows the effort that Aleix Espargaro has put in to make this RSGP the competitive bike it is right now in Motogp. It's why Maverick Vinales has been convinced to get on that motorcycle. It's a compliment to Aprilia that a rider of Vinales' stature wants to ride that bike, because he feels like he can be competitive and fighting for race wins, and so much credit has to go to Aleix Espargaro, to Romano Albiciano behind the scenes, Massimo Rivola, who's had such an influence since he came into the team a couple of years ago. Can they hang on to that 3rd place?
Danilo Petrucci and Nakagami look like they're set to go past Pecco Bagnaia now. He's dropping like a stone. Johan Zarco's not on for many points either. There are just 3 laps remaining here in the British Grand Prix. Fabio Quartararo leads, ready to land that hammer blow to the rest of the World Championship rivals. Rins is 2nd, Aleix Espargaro is still hanging on there in 3rd, ahead of Jack Miller.
We expected nothing from Zarco, did we, Steve? But this is shockingly surprising from Bagnaia. I don't think anybody saw him crumble and capitulate quite like this. There are going to be circumstances. Is it the soft front tyre that he's just not had any feel with, had any confidence with? We saw him have that moment on the front end, didn't we, early on at Stowe? Maybe that just eroded his confidence, but it's been a very bad day. It could be the day where the championship slips away from the likes of Zarco and Bagnaia.
Could be a magnificent day for this guy though. And Aprilia, Aleix Espargaro then has just got a couple of laps to go, and he's on the podium for the first time in 7 years, and it would be a fantastic day for Alex Rins as well. What a return to form this would be. What a confidence booster it would be as well.
And if you've never seen a grown man cry, stay tuned, because Aleix Espargaro will be in floods of tears. That is a young man who wears his heart on his sleeve, and as we said, he's made so many personal sacrifices behind the scenes to put Aprilia in this position. He knows that first podium is so close. It's been 119 races since he had that sweet taste of the Prosecco on the podium. Can he cling on? He was a couple of tenths quicker on the last lap than Jack Miller.
This is the fight for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Miller doesn't look like he's now able to put up that fight. Aprilia is so good grip-wise. Got so much acceleration that Miller can't get close enough. Alex Rins then in 2nd place. Is he now coming under threat from Aleix Espargaro?
Pecco Bagnaia now is doing 2:03s. Clearly he's got some major technical issues with his package underneath him at the moment.
A few riders have suffered the same fate. I think it's the same has happened to Valentino Rossi as well, who's fallen all the way back out of the points. There is Binder. Look at Mir. He's in real trouble. Points being dropped here on every corner. Brad Binder's continual charge through from Rose back in MotoGP, 6th place for the KTM rider, and Joan Mir here might not even finish inside the top 10.
You saw that shot of Mir accelerating, Steve, coming out of Copse. Massive wheel spin on that Suzuki. The speed differential, he lost the momentum coming out of Copse. Lecuona, he ran up the back of him.
Lecuona is having a great race, a fantastic race. Likewise, Alex Marquez as well. He's come through from 17th on the grid, the LCR Honda rider, to get through on Joan Mir, and Lecuona, brilliant dry race performance from him.
This is going to feel like the longest lap and a half of Aleix Espargaro's career. That was coming, that was inevitable. There's nothing that Mir can do about it. Powerless and defenceless to stop Iker Lecuona sweeping on through.
Or further up. The battle for the podium isn't over. Quartararo is in a world of his own out front. The World Championship leader is going to stand up. Miller has had a second wind as he closes here on the Aprilia of Aleix Espargaro. With Binder moving up to 6th, by the way, we now have 6 different manufacturers in the top 6.
That's the beauty of modern day MotoGP. Dawn have done a fantastic job with the technical regulations to even out the playing field. Every manufacturer now as competitive as they've ever been. Aleix Espargaro then is now what? 20 corners away from history for Aprilia. Jack Miller's got nothing to lose in the championship. He can go for broke as well. Can he break Aleix Espargaro and Aprilia hearts late on here? Fabio Quartararo has been a class apart for the for the final two-thirds of this Grand Prix. He's been utterly brilliant and dominant. It's all about this battle though for the final place on the podium, raging between Rins, Espargaro and Miller.
Miller's got to try and absolutely launch it through Maggots and Beckett's here to get close enough, and he can't. The acceleration of the Aprilia is so good. Can he force Aleix Espargaro into a mistake, maybe into turn 7?
Well, there was nothing between the pair's lap times going into this last lap. Aleix Espargaro 2:01.369, slightly slower than Miller, who did a 2:01.316. The gap between them over the line at the start of this last lap was just over 3.5 tenths.
Turn 7 safely negotiated for Fabio Quartararo. He's got this one in the bag, no problems for him. But what happens further back? Jack Miller will be running out of opportunities. Here he is closing, he is really closing on Aleix Espargaro.
Oh, we're going to get another Woodcote wonder move potentially from Jack Miller.
Oh, a little bit of a wobble from the rear end there of the Aprilia of Aleix Espargaro, who'll be feeling a bit anxious and nervy now on this last lap.
You will not meet two more popular guys in the MotoGP paddock than Aleix Espargaro and Jack Miller. Which one of them is going to be on the podium? It's coming here from Miller up the inside. He's
trying to bite back, they're almost touching. They now go into the loop. Miller has the inside line. Aleix Espargaro though comes back at it. They're side by side as they fight for the remaining podium spot.
Through Aintree, and it's Aleix Espargaro that will have the advantage. It shows how desperate he is for that first podium finish for the factory Aprilia team. Look at the tight defensive line that Aleix Espargaro now runs into Brooklands. He'll have to keep it tight on the inside as well. Can the Ducati and Miller use the power through Luffield or Woodcote? Aleix Espargaro